Thank you so much for being here for this long anticipated event. Really my joy to bring people up who have been so critical to this day, bringing us to this day where we're going to kick off the first significant phase of this round of renovation for the beloved WarnerGrandTheatre. But before we introduce famous folks and thank all these folks for being here, let's give one great shout out for the WarnerGrand herself. Let's hear for the WarnerGrand. Just this morning and yesterday and the day before, and certainly around the time that we talked about doing this, but the beginning of the year when we were closing down for some of the survey work, over and over and over again, I spoke to so many of you right here about personal stories. Everybody in town, everybody in the harbor area has some personal story about the WarnerGrand. I would hear about folks, taking a break from classes at Mary Star and walking over to see a show at Christmas time, or from folks when they auditioned for the Nutcracker and then performed on this stage, or about graduations that have happened, or about big community meetings where we talked about really difficult things and we talked about really promising things. There's been a lot of emotion that has happened in this building, and every single one of us, you wouldn't be here but for some strong emotion you feel, some connection you feel to the WarnerGrand. And so I want to say that and acknowledge that you all have that. So I want to give my story, okay? Is that all right? Can I share mine? So it was probably 1955, 1956. A young man was working as an usher at the WarnerGrand, and he was a local tough guy in the high school, a football player and young student, and he was working at the same time that a candy girl, we called them candy girls in the bad old days, sorry about that, was working here. Her name was Patty Garrity, and she went to Mary Star. He was at Pedro. And one day, Patty Garrity, her stepdad, God rest his soul, drove by here to pick her up for work, and she shooed him away and said, "You keep going, Dad." And she went back in and told Kevin, Mac, "Hey, my dad didn't give me a ride. Can you give me a ride home?" And he was shy. He was super shy. And he gave her a ride home. And that first date resulted in my mom and dad falling in love here at the WarnerGrand, getting married, having 6 kids, raising them here in the community. And my mom, who's not feeling very well today, but really wanted to be here because I heard her on the phone saying, "No, I'm coming. But my sister is making sure that she takes care of her health at this time. But my dad, Mac McOsker, is here right now. Dad. And we all have those stories. This is personal to us. This is personal to us that we take care of this grand old house, that we make sure, as I was just saying before, that we sort of respect our past, we remember our past, we embrace our past, but we get ourselves ready for the future. And the future of this house is bright. And the future of this house is going to include our kids and our grandkids and productions and art and entertainment that we can't conceive of now, but we're going to make her ready for that. And again, going back into the history of this place, it's really a weird situation where all these people for 20 years, 30 years work on this stuff, and then the councilman shows up and he gets to take credit for it all, which is a great system. I love that system. But I want to call out some folks that are here or have representatives here. I want to particularly call out a really good friend and a mentor and a guy who, I pushed my now 38-year-old daughter around on a stroller to campaign for him. I want to call out the person who was here when this theater was acquired for the city of Los Angeles to make sure that she wouldn't meet the wrecking ball. I want to call out my dear friend, Councilman Rudy Savornich. So he lovingly cared for her. By the way, he called the city attorney's office to see if it was okay, and he got a dumb kid on the other line called Tim McOsker to help him with the transaction. Also want to say that time keeps progressing, and we had his successor who also cared very deeply for this building and cared for our Friends of group, and she supported the Grand Vision Foundation. She made sure that we could come to this day. She is represented by her representative, Jennifer Lamarck. Janice Hahn. Jennifer, representing Janice Hahn. And time marches on. She handed off the office to my immediate predecessor, who made sure that he went into the budget process, and he found money to get us to this day, and he put it in the budget. And of course, no things in the city happen fast, but that money got carried over and carried over and carried over. But for a person saying we need to make sure that we do this next renovation, we would not have gotten to this day. And that is my dear friend, who I don't believe is here, but some of his team is here, and that is Joe Buscaino. Let's thank Joe. And just a few minutes ago, we put our hands in a huddle. I met with the contractors, and we put our hand, and this is not now a binding promise. We put our hands in a huddle with the contractors. It's H2 Construction, and we're going to give a cheer for them. But we put our hands in. I said, okay, 500 days, but that's what the contract says. But if you can bring it in 499 and 11 hours, I'd be happy with that too. And that's Ron and Natalie and Kyle doing the site superintendent. Let's hear it for 2H Construction. Ready? Break! That's a promise, right? I want to call out some other luminaries before we move on. We have here with us someone who lovingly cares for this entire community in this downtown area and the broader business community, and that's my friend Elise Swanson of the San Pedro Chamber of Commerce. Let's hear it for Elise. And we are in an arts district. The arts are really, really important to the business community, and the business community is important to the arts. They work together hand in glove every day, every way. I want to call out Linda Grimes of the San Pedro Waterfront Arts District. Where are you, Linda? And I don't know, I did not see her, but I'm so appreciative of her. I want to thank from the Arts United of San Pedro, Amy Erickson. And again, supporting this downtown area, working with the chamber, working with the arts, is our PBID. Our PBID does these beautiful lights, sidewalks, streets, curbs, gutters, keeping everything pretty and nice. I want to thank Yolanda Regalado, the president of our PBID. Yolanda. And our relationship to the port, very important to us. We're always asking for more, and sometimes we get yeses, but we always get a yes from this guy. He just has to collect a couple more votes and make sure we keep getting yeses to support our community, and that is Harbor Commissioner Lee Williams. Lee, thank you for being here. So again, today is a day long anticipated. We've spent a lot of time, weekly meetings for an entire year, making sure that all of that safety work was done, making sure all the dollars were put in place, making sure the contractor was in place, making sure that contracts were signed, making sure everything was enforceable to be in a position where we start and we finish without interruption. And we couldn't do it without a great team. And I want to bring up really the owner of this building, the manager of this building, who works hand in glove with community. I want to bring up the general manager of DCA, Daniel Tarika. Daniel, come on up.
Well, thank you so much, Councilmember McOsker. My name's Daniel Tarika. I am the general manager for the Department of Cultural Affairs, and we are so excited to be here today with you. We made it. This has been such an exciting opportunity. While we wouldn't normally celebrate the closing down of one of our performing arts centers, today we are here celebrating for good reason. The Warner Grand, as you know, is located here in the heart of San Pedro and has long been a fixture of the community. I just want to thank Councilmember McOsker for highlighting the importance of the legacy and the history of what this theater means to the community and to the city as a whole. And also just thinking about what it is that we're going to be able to do going forward. But during the WarnerGrandTheatre's nearly century-long history, the theater has been a silent movie house, a movie theater, and finally, a live performance venue that's been managed by the city of LA. The Warner Grand has been home for live dance, music, and theater performances by local groups and international artists, and professional companies, and children who've taken their first steps on stage. There have been film festivals, both featuring student filmmakers and international movie directors, and numerous films, TV, and commercials that have been shot here. Under the city's ownership and management, the Warner Grand has always been a place for the city's artists and the community. And now, with the support and leadership of Councilmember McOsker and the Team 1-5, the Warner Grand is a crown jewel for the San Pedro Arts Hub. But even the crown jewel needs a little polishing. So when the construction's completed in mid-2026, it will feature a historic restoration of the main lobby that echoes the great Deco movie palaces in decor, but features all modern equipment and function. Completely new restrooms in the lower lounge and on the mezzanine level, an open guest lounge, a multi-purpose room with a rooftop desk overlooking San Pedro, an elevator that reaches all floors of the front of house, including the projection room, a wheelchair lift to connect the audience to the stage, and a historic renovation of the storefront facade. And it will also include a new state-of-the-art LED marquee that can look like these snap lock letters above and do so much more with animation. Exactly. So the design that honors the Warner Grand's historic past and provides contemporary amenities is a result of 3 years of collaboration with the architectural firm SPF Architects, whose team, led by Sid Majumdar, has been passionate and creative partners with DCA, and we look forward to our next 2 years of partnership during the construction phase. We also are joined today by Zoltan Pali, Principal, and Natalie May, Associate Principal of SPF Architects. So thank you to SPF. And I also want to give a special thank you to our Performing Arts Division. They've worked tirelessly here to bring this forward, and I want to give a thank you to Mr. Lee Sweet for his management of the WarnerGrandTheatre, and all of our technicians and front of house staff who have kept the theater going before and during the pandemic, continuing to bring performing arts to our city and to San Pedro. I'd also like to give a thank you to Nikki Genovese, our Performing Arts Director, for her leadership as well. So upgrading municipal buildings is not an easy project, nor is it a fast project. And we are lucky to benefit from the strong and respectful leadership with the Bureau of Engineering. BOE has been a stalwart partner with DCA on the Performing Arts Division's many other construction projects, including the Madrid and Tosco Theaters in Canoga Park, the Vision Theater in Lemert Park, and the Lake Risham Arts Center in NoHo. Marcus Yee has led these projects for BOE since 2022, and everyone at the Performing Arts is deeply grateful, and the Department of Cultural Affairs is deeply grateful for his humor and his commitment to the Warner Grand getting us here. And we want to say thank you as he hands off to Jesus Abril. And as we move into the next phase, in the community's growth, as a leading arts district for the Harbor region and the City of LA, we are also honored to be joined today by the Chief Deputy City Engineer of the Bureau of Engineering, Deborah Weintraub.
Thank you. I was calling folks out before we get to Deborah, who is fantastic. I was calling out folks who have participated in the life of this theater. And I want to call out Stephanie Martisic and the Harbor Area Film Festival, International, LA Harbor International Film Festival. How could I forget? She's branded so well. Thank you for being here. Deborah Weintraub is come on up, but I'm going to talk about you a little bit. I've known Deborah for a long, long, long time. She's one of those in city government, and when I first got there 35 years ago, in city government, there's always like those 5 or 6 people you can call, and you know if you call them, you're going to get it done. A guy who preceded us, a guy named Ron Deaton, used to say, I could run this whole city with 10 people. But I'm not going to tell you who those 10 are. Well, I guarantee you, Deborah Weintraub is one of those 10. So running our engineering department, Deborah Weintraub.
I'm thrilled to be here today. I think Daniel stole most of my speech, so I won't repeat all of it. But as an architect, I'm an architect by training, As someone who dreams about buildings, who I've worked over the years on restorations, this is such a pleasure to be here today to be kicking off this construction. We started conversations, Zoltan and I were just talking many years ago about this project. And this phase one, $18 million investment to preserve an important structure that's both a city historic monument and also on the National Registry. It's really a wonderful event. And it's about 2 years of construction. My staff who really make this happen, Marcus Yee, who was mentioned earlier, and Hajj Abdullah, who's not here with us today, have lovingly carried the project to this point. The council member says it's hard to get city projects done. I think it's hard to get any building project done. So to be here at this point, kicking off construction with a contractor in hand and a clear path to finishing, I really look forward to being back in 2 years to celebrating a reopening. Thank you, council member.
Thank you so much. It is hard to get city projects done. I mean, it's hard to get, to get our bathrooms renovated. It's really, really hard to get city projects done. But I will say, we do it right. We have great professionals, and we have great contractors, and we do it right. So we're going to do this one right, do it once, make sure that we can move on to the next phases of this project. Someone who is really going to be overseeing so much of this process is the Public Works Department. And we are really, really, really blessed that the newest commissioner of the Board of Public Works is someone who has deep knowledge in not only this district, but this street and this theater, and cares so much about our community. We are grateful that the mayor has appointed to the Public Works board member, Jenny Chavez.
Thank you, and good morning. Thank you, Councilman, for that beautiful introduction. I appreciate it. Today is truly a momentous day, not just for the WarnerGrandTheatre, but for the entire San Pedro community. This groundbreaking or start of construction isn't just about starting a project. It represents decades of vision, perseverance, and an unshakable commitment from this community to preserve and elevate a beloved treasure. The story of the Warner Grand is a story of passion and unwavering determination. It began in the 90s with Councilman Rudy Savornich when he recognized the theater's immense potential and took the bold step to purchase it for the city, calling upon a young deputy city attorney, as we learned today, to help him so that it would remain a public treasure for generations to come. Years later, Councilman Joe Buscaino reignited that vision, pushing forward the modernization efforts needed to breathe new life into this historic gem. And today, Councilmember Tim McOsker has carried that torch across the finish line, securing the critical funding to turn this dream into a reality. To arrive at this moment, we didn't just plan, we persisted. This project required collaboration across administrations, innovative funding solutions, and tireless advocacy from leaders and residents alike. It's a testament to what can happen when we unite for something bigger than ourselves. But let's take a moment to acknowledge the driving force that kept this vision alive through all that time. The Grand Vision Foundation and its extraordinary executive director, Liz Schindler-Johnson. Liz, your dedication has been nothing short of transformational. For decades, you and your team have championed this theater. You raised the funds, you rallied the volunteers, you replaced every single seat, and ensured the Warner Grand remained a beacon of hope and history for this community. Your leadership is an inspiration, and your impact will be felt for generations to come. When the Warner Grand reopens, it will be more than a theater. It will be a symbol of San Pedro's spirit and resilience. It will work in harmony with the revitalized waterfront and the exciting West Harbor project, creating a dynamic destination that celebrates San Pedro's past, present, and future. The theater will draw visitors, invigorate businesses, and shine a spotlight on its rich culture and history that makes San Pedro so special. The Warner Grand has always been more than just a building. She's the cornerstone of its community's identity, a place where generations have come together to share stories, music, and memories. and meet your future spouse. As we look to the future, this theater will stand as a bridge that connects those generations, welcoming world-class performances while remaining a cherished stage for this community. Congratulations, San Pedro. Today, we're not just starting a new project, we're building on your legacy. You've proven once again what is possible when a community comes together with vision, determination, and heart. Together, we are creating a brighter, more vibrant future for this theater, for downtown San Pedro, and for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jenny. The speakers were so well organized, they knew who was coming next, and they basically did their intros. But this next speaker is someone who has been focused on this theater and on this day for every day for the last 10, 15, 20 years, and is going to stay focused on it. The reason why I can say that we're committed to the 500 days is because I know she's going to stay committed to it. There's this great analogy when, in navigation, when someone wants to take the island, I guess, you know, the large boat comes in and the small boats go up to the beach, and when the leader says we're not turning back, there's no retreat, no surrender, they light the boats on fire, there's no turning back. Well, the woman who lit the boats on fire and said there's no coming back, there's no turning back, is Liz Schindler Johnson. Liz, come on up. Sorry to make it so aggressive.
That was awesome. I would never have thought of it that way, but I like that. I like that. I lit the boats on fire. Hi, Liz Schindler Johnson. I know a lot of you, but thank you. Those I don't know, it's nice to meet you. I hope you come back to the theater once it's renovated and come to some amazing productions and know that you are here on the ground floor of an amazing moment. And I have to say, I'm so glad we didn't have this moment like last year or the year before or all the different times when we thought we were going to be able to get this renovation started. Because of Tim's leadership, he wanted to be very accurate, and he wanted to make sure all the processes were done, the dots were dotted, the T's were crossed, so that we are ready. And indeed, the contractor is here in the auditorium. Well, he might be here now, but he's already reviewing the plans. They already have the keys, and they're already ready to go. This project is on. On. I'm not sure if I'm going to use my speech because all of you smart people said really exactly what I was going to say, except a couple other things. I do want to express my extreme gratefulness to, well, first, the Department of Cultural Affairs for keeping the theater open and managing the theater and being partners for so long with us in opening the theater to the community and making it, turning it into a performing arts center, which is really was necessary for its survival because movie theaters, though everybody loves the idea of going to a historic movie palace to see a movie, they actually just want to watch movies on their iPad. So we couldn't function like that. So though we do show movies here and we're happy that that continues, that tradition continues, we also are so grateful to the DCA for making it possible for so many young people to perform on the stage, for so many fledgling film festivals or other artistic groups to come and use the theater. So it's always been open and warm for everyone. And I also want to say I'm so grateful to the council office. First, Councilman Buscaino got this going, and now Councilman McOsker has found more funds, because guess what? It costs more than was expected. And I know if necessary, he's going to even find more. So, and with a city that's always struggling with many, many, many needs, we are so grateful that the spotlight did get shown on this theater now, and that the funds are here, and this work that needs to be done is being done. And I don't know if anyone would say it, but I can say it because I'm the community person. I can say the toilets were giving up in this theater. and they had given up, and sometimes we had to have porta potties during public events, and that wasn't working. I can also say that all of us knew that the reason there weren't elevators is because it was grandfathered in, but that wasn't right either. We needed elevators, we needed accessibility, and this renovation is going to be so important to the future, the next 100 years for this theater. And I am positive it will not take more than the 500 days that Mr. McOsker says it's going to take. But I do want to say, just to be in all seriousness, if it does take longer, we have to understand that the city picked a very high-level architectural firm. They picked a very high-quality general contractor. We don't want them, if it's a matter of we don't want them to do something poorly or quickly. If it matters, what matters is it's done well, because we don't know when we're getting another couple $1 million to do the repairs, right? So we want them to do it really well. I do also want to say two more things, at least two. One is I do want to tell you a little story. Okay, before I didn't realize this, but anyway, when I was new in town, I met these wonderful couple, and they were like my parents' age, and they came to the theater a lot. And then I was speaking to the lady, and she told me this amazing story about how she was born and raised in San Pedro, and so was her husband, and they met at the WarnerGrandTheatre. They got married at the Old Mary Star. They had their reception at the old Hacienda Hotel here in San Pedro up on Western, and then they had their honeymoon at the Tropicana in Vegas. And then she said, and the Old Mary Star was torn down, Hacienda Hotel was torn down, Tropicana was torn down, but the WarnerGrand is still here. And just to ham it up a little, that was Tim's mom. And that really stuck in my mind. So that gives you a sense of how dedicated our community is to this theater. And I feel like my dedication to the theater has come from the care and love that all these people that I've seen I see some folks like Yolanda, Perry right there, and people who have been at this theater for so long, and they gave me the wind beneath my wings. And there's one other person that hasn't been mentioned who really also gave me the wind beneath my wings, who somehow talked me into doing this, who actually might have talked Rudy Savornich into doing this in the first place, and that's my husband, Alan Johnson. He really loves this theater. So, I do ask the community to be patient with this project in case it's very comprehensive. The building's delicate. We want it to all go well, and we know it will. There might be challenges or delays, but that's not going to happen. No. That's not going to happen. But ultimately, the community will receive a beautiful, historically preserved theater that is also revitalized, modernized, and accessible. I think I'm turning it over to you, but I wanted to say with you together that this will be the best Christmas present ever.
Oh, all right, thank you, that's good. Thank you. Holy cow, my mom's not even here and she got more airtime than I got. So the time has come, and we thought, how are we going to do this? We're going to do a countdown together. We're going to do a countdown together because we need this to be participatory. We'll do a countdown from 10, we'll shut off the lights, and that'll be our symbolic wrap on this event. But before we do, all this talk about maybe being a little bit delayed, I'm going to remind the contractors, we get punitive damages if you're late. You're on notice right now. So we're all in this together. Actually, let's tell the whole community, are we committed to getting this thing started tomorrow? Are we committed to everything it takes to making sure that this contract stays on a 500-day schedule? Yeah. When we reopen, are we going to show up and support this theater? Yeah. Okay, I think we're ready to count down. Why don't all the speakers come up with me? Come on up with me. Let's do it together, all speakers. And anybody else who wants to come up feels like they're committed to the site. Come on up, come on up, come on up, come on up. You guys ready to count down? We'll count from 10. Oh, yeah, because of the sun.
Maybe we should count from 15.
From 15? From the one, we'll count from the 1-5. Yeah. From the best district, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. Here we go. Thank you everyone for being here.